4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Wow, it is not Throwback Thursday, not Thirsty Thursday. Damn, it's Frantic Thursday. Can I tell you, we have a bunch of guests in house today, right here at the Spoony Mojo Studios. Yeah, okay, it's okay. You can talk.
Can you hear me? Okay.
No. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Everybody apparently heard me way too much this morning, so I apologize.
Hey, I wasn't listening.
We're
We're good.
Tomorrow.
We're all good.
I love you. I know.
Oh, my, sorry. He's got to unmute your mic. There you go, Jeff. Thanks. All right, so you should be live now.
Okay. I still love
No,
you.
still not live.
No.
There you go. Try it now.
I still love you.
There we go.
We switched from AT&T to Verizon. We have coverage. Yes, for AT&T. All right, as much as Doc hate you more than before. Not only did you give me crappy service the last 20 years, but you took my best friend.
Yep.
Actually, it was a joke. The Amtrak train was not full of AT&T execs heading to Chicago for some big money, falutin, whatever.
So JR15 tweeted me or texted me about a week or so after the jog. He said, well, if the incident, if the person driving the train was a African-American female, Doc got killed by black titty.
Okay, wait. So you realize I'm not on MeWe. I'm
I know. I'm sorry.
And that the thing is, it was not a Tuesday. It was a Monday. So, well, I am on MeWe. I just don't participate because I'm telling you, I can't keep up with you all. You'll confuse me.
You are a busy man.
Yeah.
Not at all. No. I just, I do one little show here a day, 2 hours, and then I just goof around the rest of the time, right?
That's not even a true statement.
Yeah. So, if y'all didn't know, this is well, last year we had a little event at a different venue
in February.
Yes, and it was Doc's longtime fans, what we call the Jackhole Nation.
Yes,
right?
it was FanCon. We can say FanCon.
Well, we can look. It's TMB FanCon because he was TMB.
Yeah, it was TMB.
Right? He was.
It was Morning Blaze FanCon.
No, TMB.
I'm sorry, TMB.
She said the B word. Damn it! And it wasn't the good one.
I am a B word.
I'm just joking. No, I was always treated very well over there. I was a volunteer contributor, and Doc was kind of giving me a platform to air my passion for the food service industry. Mm-hmm. And the Blaze was fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough that they let me do that without any restrictions, nor I didn't have to pay him. So that was kind of good.
That is a good idea.
No compensation, yes. Yeah. However, when we came over here, the whole thing started. You had planned about 7-8 months ago, actually almost a year ago.
Oh, we started planning as soon as we were out of the building.
Yeah, so it was like 6, 7, 8 months ago. So it was about the time that Doc left, like in September or October, whatever it was. So they started planning a MojoCon, right, which is our sister channel, the Mojo 50. If you don't know what that is, look it up, Mojo 50 Radio on Facebook and all social media. You can go to Mojo, that's 505, the number 5, the number 0.com, MAJO50.com.
MOJO, you said MA.
Whatever, Mojo, what's the difference?
Maho.
Hey, look, it's Hawaii 50 as far as I'm concerned.
Casey's Maho 50.
No. We're not a Mojo. This is a family-friendly, 24/7 food-friendly
I know.
network.
I have to turn it down a little bit.
A lot.
Sorry, Jeff.
I'm just saying.
Should, then maybe I ought to.
All right, so hey, next guest, Lori D's coming out. Next guest, please. Next. Hey. Okay, attention Kmart shoppers. Is there more PC that we could get in here and share one, please? Share
let's
one.
talk food. That's
share one.
amazing.
I'm just teasing.
Let's talk food.
So, you all have been very loyal to Spoony and listen to my show and all of our show hosts. I just want to say thank you very much. Thanks to Doc and the family of listeners who brought us all together. It's been an amazing venture. It's fun.
It's emotional.
I had here's the thing.
It's emotional.
Here's the thing. I had a dream. I never dreamt of doing that thing over there. I didn't. I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
My dream was this, and I went to Doc because he was the radio professional that I knew, that I'd known the longest and trusted the most. And he said, "Hey, we could do 2 for the price of 1," which was the price of none, basically. And I said, "Yeah, sure." Little did I know the monster we would both grow into in the best of ways. I mean, that is a true compliment. So the listeners, our loyal listeners, oftentimes
A little too loyal.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I'm really bad, and I admit this. I'm really bad, and anyone who follows me at all, this is Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. You can, you all know. Just look up Spoony Radio. Look for the guy with the big head and the light-colored chef jacket on. That's me.
And he makes the good food, too. So just look
when I cook, when I have a kitchen to cook in. But here's the deal. A lot of our listeners have food issues, food allergies. We have caloric restrictions, right? We have restrictions not just from a caloric intake and an allergy perspective. But we have someone who out there. We have a diabetic in the audience who's sitting right outside. Is going to come in a few minutes. Now, I'm here to answer live on the air. Screw up or not, it's like Stump the Chum. I've had a lot of requests for like some healthy alternatives to certain food items, or if something doesn't work out, it fails. What's the cure? I mean, I'll prescribe what I believe is best.
Dr. Patrick.
No, we can't say that. So to my family, and my mother was ill my entire life. I was born when she was 36. I was the youngest of 5 children.
Oh, wow.
There was a huge gap between the elder 3 and the younger 2, like 15 years. And then,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were oops.
No, I think they were just long, cold winters in upstate New York is what happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm 51. My nearest sister's 53. We're 25 months apart. So she turns, she's 3 years older briefly for 1 month every year. But we talk a lot. She just survived colon cancer surgery treatment, so she's doing very well. Bernice, thank God you're okay, and she's cancer free now. But there's been a lot of battles in my family. One of our other sisters has asthma, which my mother was diagnosed with right after my birth, and it's chronic. The middle sister, Karen, which contributes to the show on occasion, she's a life coach in upstate New York with her husband Kevin. We're going to start doing a regular Friday afternoon segment. Actually, it'll be kind of coaching, but kind of fun, like how to kind of move forward and lighten the mood, but still make some progress. She has also, as my nearest in age sister Bernice, a lot of health issues when it comes to dietary intake, processed sugars, yeast, onion, egg. There's just a ton of things that they have to watch out
Onion
for.
would really hurt my feelings if I had a problem with onion.
Yeah, the good. So I like onion because when you don't want to talk to somebody, you eat it like an apple, and you're like, "How are you?" You get on the plane, it's like, "Hey man, you want to chat for a while?" They're like, "No, books up, headphones on, turn the cheek." It works every time.
You don't ring a bell right now. So.
You don't even have to. You have to eat the onion. Just carry a thing of onion powder or garlic powder and shake it in your mouth. It works. I'm telling. Hey, you don't even have to carry the book anymore. Just shake that stuff in your mouth, swish it around, and say, "Hi, my name's Patrick."
How are you?
It works. I'm telling you. So new uses for food additives right here.
There you go.
So back to the topic at hand. Lori, as the
Patrick.
first person from the loyal listeners of Doc, will say,
A little too
right?
loyal, yeah.
No, not the Jack Hole. Look, I mean, you're loyal listeners, and thank you very much for the support. But
Yeah.
you had a question about dairy, right? In particular, something that a dairy replacement for something.
Yeah, I'm one of these people that will tell you I have a lactose issue. So and it's cow's milk. It's specifically cow's milk.
So, have you ever seen what's the movie with damn it, in France, she Meg Ryan flies to France and she meets
French
with
Kiss.
Kevin.
French
Oh my
Kiss.
goodness!
Yeah, I love
Have you
that
seen
movie.
That?
Love it.
Lactose intolerant. Did you know that French has 176 official cheeses?
Did you know that in my 1,700-mile drive down here, I ate no cheese because I was by myself?
That was probably the best idea you've had in many years. Lauren.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So
I have 2 little boys though.
so
They're awesome.
specifically lactose.
Yes.
Okay.
But I can process goat milk, but not a lot. So, but I'm cow milk. No, can't do it. in any
Okay.
way,
So
shape, or form.
nothing from cow. Okay. So what was your
But I'm wondering
know
what is
why?
yeah what is the difference
So,
between the milks?
lactose from dairy, right? So have you ever had cow's milk? I mean, have you ever had sheep's milk? Just raw sheep's milk?
No.
It's different. It's kind of tangy, right? That's why goat's milk or sheep's milk cheese has that tang.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
tasty.
Yeah.
It's lower in sugar.
Okay.
So it still has lactose. It still has sugar in it.
Okay.
It's just a lower content.
Okay.
And the molecular structure is probably a looser protein, so your body's able to break it down up to a certain point.
Okay,
and then
so
the allergic reaction kicks in.
It could be the sugar that's the problem.
Well, lactose is pretty much
Yeah, it's
so
all sugar.
there are 2 things. Most people are allergic to protein or an inflammatory. The inflammatory is being a sugar or whatever.
Right.
So and the protein is probably a more basic protein. I don't know. I'm not looking. I didn't look it up. This is just off the cuff.
Okay.
But more than likely, your body can digest up to a certain point. It can digest that, and it's not a problem. Then you start to have the allergic reaction.
Why? Because I wasn't like this. I didn't have a lactose problem when I was growing up. This has been a recent thing in the last 5 or 6 years. And my doctor said, "Well, are you lactose intolerant?" I didn't even think that was a thing because I was having a whole bunch of issues.
So here's the thing: we all have an allergy to something, and if we eat enough of something, we can and are prone to developing an allergy to it.
Okay.
Right. So we used to have very seasonal diets. You ate what was in season, what grew regionally,
And I'm
within
from
your community.
Wisconsin. I'm a cheesehead, so cheese.
Yeah.
Well, until California came on the scene, New York was the number 2 cheese-producing, dairy-producing state.
Whatever.
But damn Californians came in, and they had to do that stupid cow cute commercial thing. And we love you, but we don't love you all the time.
I don't know. Go Packers. That's all. I'm done. I don't like
whatever,
Texas
it's fine. I have no dog in that. It's okay.
I know.
But so what happens is we've gone away from that, right? You can get anything anywhere from any part of the world. Right. The problem is it's not necessarily indigenous, nor it's not just not indigenous to the diet in that location, even if you're not from there in that region. They've been bred for shipping.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if you Packer tomatoes or Packer limes or Packer, these are fruit of the vine. Doesn't matter if it's a fruit or vegetable. Because to be honest with you, vegetable is a made up name. Okay. There's no such thing as a vegetable. Everything is the fruit of a vine. So fruit is the byproduct of something that's produced from a plant and is edible. That's a fruit.
Okay.
Right.
It's
I feel
all fruit.
Smarter already, Casey.
I know.
So the funny thing is, every new thing I learn, I have to forget two things from the past. So I have to be very selective in what, and that is not a pit stain there, folks. That's just the shine and lead. That's actually a vent right there. That's called ventilation. It's called anti-sweat for chefs, right? No, look, I mean, it's the same. It's the same as this material right here. It's vented.
It gets hot in the kitchen.
Oh no, Chef Works. These guys are awesome. I wish I need to call them and say, can I just get seven chef's coats, all a different color? And I'll wear a new one each day. Because Doc was like, dude, you only have like 2 chef coats. You got the black one in the car, which is really old. So you should really wear something new every day so they know you're not wearing the same clothes. No, here's the deal. Every 2 days I do laundry, I wear the same stuff over and over.
When I'm working, I wear a T-shirt and my hair all up and covered. And
and in a kitchen, if I'm doing production, off topic, I don't necessarily wear a chef coat. I typically wear a T-shirt or a long sleeve T-shirt, depending on the outside weather.
Right.
But I rarely, until service, until we're into service time, then you put the chef coat on. You know why?
Why?
I don't always have extra chef coats with me, and if it gets dirty, then you need a clean one for service, right? When you start expediting and you're dealing with issues or compliments at a table, or you're just working the floor.
Right.
You don't want to look like a pig.
Like normal. I don't want to look any worse than normal, which, yes. So, but the old chef coats that, this is like, I tell everybody this is, well, Jeffy said this over at the other place, right? He goes, I see you have the same designer as Kim Jong-un. And I'm like, yes, I do, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much. Wow. I don't speak Korean, but I'll say in Japanese, hi, same designer.
That's hilarious.
Okay, well, always funny. I was like, damn, you're witty ass. So
he's a gentleman, too, and nobody would realize that.
I'll tell you what.
Amazing.
I'll tell you what. I'm not bragging about the other place. He is one of the, he's a true gem. He's a gentleman. He's witty. He's personable.
He is.
He wraps that all in the case of an ass that can be rude in the most polite way. But I really like, and I'm so glad he's good because he had a mild heart attack recently.
I know.
He's back to, I think he's back to 100%. And hey, Jeffy, if you need some healthy eating tips, screw off. No, I'm just joking. Call me anytime. You got my number, and I would love nothing more than I know he can't really call in or come in, but I would love to give you some great recipes that you may not have access to. So, all right. So back to your question.
Yeah.
Yes, the structure is what it is. It's the molecular dynamic of how all that, the fat, the protein, and the lactose are bound together. Okay. But we all have allergies to something. Everyone. We may not ever know it. It may not ever come out. But we all have a level of tolerance. So, people, they're young, they say, hey, I used to eat shrimp and crab and lobster, but now I can't eat it anymore. Okay. Right. What happened was they had a predisposed, or they were predisposed to have an allergy to that, and they had a level of tolerance. Okay. And once they exceeded that, it triggered. Okay. Right. So and they may have been able to eat shrimp, but the problem with seafood is that the minute it comes out of the water, especially crustaceans, the process of breaking down that protein, the rotting process, so to speak, immediately causes histamines, and shrimp are the worst. So people that have terrible allergies, if you eat shrimp that's not super fresh or was not immediately frozen upon, and it starts to deteriorate, or it's been, even after cooking, it's been held for a day or two too long, that's one of the issues. And you'll see it'll trigger immediately. That's where anaphylactic shock comes in. Yeah. Wow. Because it's an inflammatory response. Right? It's histamines. So that's the trigger point. Some people are allergic to the protein. Okay. That's true. But the majority of people that have a shellfish allergy, but many of them, it's actually a reaction to the histamines in the food. Again, I'm not a doctor,
Right.
but no,
You
but
don't even play one on TV.
But that would be cool because I get paid. So
And you get another coat.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
different type of
hey, we're meant to be real doctors. Well, we all play one on TV.
Love you, Patrick.
No, somebody said yesterday. Somebody told me that they heard for the first time they heard me say on the show. You said like 4 or 5 times yesterday how you don't make any money. Okay, well, Lent's over. I have not given up bitching for life just for Lent. So I was not complaining. I think I was completely and utterly exhausted. I've dislocated the shoulder several times, and the day before yesterday, I did something to aggravate it. I don't know if I lifted my backpack out of the back seat without turning, which dislocates it again. And
Wow.
but it's momentary, right? So it's and it's okay. But then later on,
You're
you
like Mel
pay
Gibson.
for it. No,
In the Lethal Weapon movies.
no, I can't.
Weapon
It's
movie.
not that simple to put your shoulder back. I can just tell you. So you have to have somebody has to extend
I
it,
know.
twist it, and cross it across your body, and it's an easy process for them. But for someone to do it on their own, it doesn't work that way. Make sure this on Snap one day, my fat belly was showing, and thank God somebody told me because that was probably the most mortifying. I was horrifying moment in my. That was worse than the day I almost cried on the air because I couldn't speak and Doc was not there and I had his glass of water sitting there. Ugly. I was like, oh my God, I need to lose weight. How did somebody see that? Switch camera angle, pull the table up.
There's never a good angle when you're on TV.
No.
I don't care.
Well,
I'm 42 and chubby.
there's
and I
not.
love it.
There's never a camera angle, but that doesn't make it look fat. I'm just saying, if you're watching, Jeff, you okay there?
Well, no. Were you talking about milk or shellfish just a moment ago before
Well,
you?
we were talking about dairy first, and then I said, that's why we all have a tolerance level for almost every protein.
Right.
Right. So if somebody may not show a peanut allergy or a shellfish or a dairy, but once you exceed that threshold for your particular makeup, your body's makeup, then that's when the allergies start to show. And the first time is typically severe.
So, because I had no issue with milk growing up, I love milk. I drank milk like water, right? And as I started getting older,
good.
it was like, I'd have a bowl of
Does
cereal.
the body good.
And then all of a sudden it'd be like, I got to go to the restroom. And then I'd have a milkshake. It'd be like, I got to go to the restroom.
Yes.
Or I'd have froth in my coffee and it'd be like, oh, I got to go to the restroom. And I was just like, what the heck is going on? So it's
Right.
because of the milk. I mean, but why? Did something happen? Did I drink too much milk as a child? I mean, was I not properly nourished? What's the deal?
So where did you get your milk as a child? Did it come
From the bottle?
I mean, but so
I mean, where did you get your milk from
no.
a child? What a weird question.
my mom's, but never mind. So was it something that was? Did it come from a local dairy, or was it a mass-produced place? Was it homogenized raw? Did your
It was
parents
like
own cattle?
homogenized. It was whole milk.
Okay, but
Yeah.
your family didn't own a dairy or anything like that, or okay.
No.
So my grandfather, when I was young, we had fresh milk right up the road. It wasn't delivered. We had to pick it up,
Right.
but we could get a milk can with actually a 5-gallon jug, right?
Oh, wow.
The big old it was a milk can.
Right.
And so we would not always, but a lot of times it was fresh milk, and unpasteurized. It was raw. So the more processed the dairy product, the easier to digest. That's why a lot of people can eat a little bit of ice cream. They can have like yogurt. But raw milk, or not raw milk, but even homogenized whole milk, higher fat content especially, you're going to start to feel it quicker, right?
I grew up on skim milk.
So
Fat-free
did
milk.
I.
So-
Which skim, but do you do skim milk now or do you?
No, I don't drink milk
But
at all.
when you started noticing, was it higher fat milk?
Yeah, my kids prefer 1%, and I will not go up any further
Skim
than that.
skim milk is basically a little tiny bit of the milk solids left over and water. That's what's left in the
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
So they take out the heavy cream, they take out some butter fat. There's some milk solids and other additional, and that's what's left over from that process. It's a very diluted down, it's not highly processed. It has less dairy in it than dairy. It has more water in it than dairy.
So then, since I grew up in Milwaukee, and then I went to Arizona State, so we're
Go Sun Devils!
go Devils.
Yes.
Shamrock
Boo U of A.
Farms that's in Phoenix.
Yeah, Shamrock. Shamrock. They were a large distributor.
Okay, because the dairy, we went to the same grocery store, so I know it's not the same dairy that I grew up in. But is there a difference?
Which
do they
grocery
do
store did you go to there?
in Milwaukee Pick and Save?
Okay, yeah.
Or Century. Those were the two, but it was mostly Pick and Save. Do the dairies process the milk different differently? Does that have anything to do with
shouldn't,
it?
but their sources are different, right? So a different source means that you have a different level of what the diets. The diet of cattle make a big difference.
Okay.
So if you're feeding them something healthy and more organic, maybe locally brought in instead of shipped, less processed, more whole. Whether it's hay or grain or whatever it happens to be they're feeding them, then of course that's going to play a difference as well.
Okay.
A lot of times we're not allergic to the protein or the lactose at all. It's the residual toxins in the milk from what the cattle were given, whether it's
That makes sense.
hormonal or whether it's something just in their feed.
Because milk tastes different from different companies. It
No,
does.
absolutely.
It absolutely does. And that's one of the first things I noticed, because I lived in Milwaukee my entire life. And, one of the first things you do is you find your new grocery store and you find your new this. And it tasted different. It took me a while to get used to it in Phoenix.
One of the things because in the north, especially Milwaukee, Wisconsin, New York State, upper parts of California, the dairy's really near from where it's shipped to where it's consumed, right? Or where it's processed.
Right.
It's not necessarily that way in the southern state. We have less dairy, dairy farmers and so on and so forth. So it makes a big difference. Okay. And if you get stuff in, so everything that you eat nutritionally is pretty much light sensitive. Anything that's a liquid, especially.
Right.
So if you buy it and it's not a paper or some sort of protective carton, it's the plastic jugs.
Clear plastic. Okay.
By the time you get it, the vitamin D is pretty much broken down.
Oh wow!
And
I didn't know that.
A lot of the other nutritional.
I know. I'm glad we came in.
Yeah. So I mean, if you'll notice, almost every organic milk company puts their product in a paper carton. As a matter of fact, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
I can't think of one organic company. Maybe there might be a store brand, but almost every time it's in a paper carton because they want as much nutrition there is in there as possible. Now, I drink dairy very little. I've switched to like almond milk. I used to drink soy milk. I don't drink it.
Yeah, if I have a craving for cereal, it's soy milk.
And
I mean, we do, especially to try and get the kids nutrition. We'll use the different nut milks like macadamia.
She said nut milk.
It's valid.
I'm just joking.
Ding, ding, ding.
Macadamia nut, just to make sure that they get their calories.
So macadamia nut milk, that's one that's like a dessert in a bowl right there
God.
by
Yeah.
itself. You don't need berries or cream or.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't see. I just making sure I watch the clock over
No,
there.
I'm
We got
remembering
2.5
my trip to
minutes
Hawaii.
left. Oh, I'm telling you. So that's one of my all-time favorites. One of my all-time favorite desserts has a caramel that incorporates like crushed up macadamia nuts in it. I talked about it yesterday. It's roasted bananas in the skin.
Ooh.
Oh my!
Yeah, somebody said.
What happens to them?
Okay, so there's a. Okay, I'm excited.
I kind of know this.
I got about 2 minutes, and so there's a couple of things you can do with bananas when they start to ripen. You just puree them, and you can add like chocolate to them, cocoa, a little not necessarily. You don't need fat or milk in it, but you puree it in a blender, and you can just mold that and eat it like it's like ice cream, right?
Okay.
Kind of. It's not the same. Frozen bananas are great. That's good. But if you take the ones that start to get spotted, a little more than spotted, and let them go a little past that, even not black, but half brown, half yellow, they start to shrink a little bit.
Right.
You take that whole banana and put them on a. We got shrinkage. I can't remember the first time I said shrinkage on Doc's show. They about passed out. So that's the loss in weight of any product in the food service industry. It's called shrinkage.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys are incorrigible. So if you take the bananas and you roast them in the oven on a sheet tray, or a cookie sheet with a rim on it, and when they turn completely black, you bake them at 400, 425. It takes about 10, 15, 20 minutes. They'll turn black and they start to the juices start to show.
Okay.
Right? And so when the juices start to come out, you take it out, let it cool for a second or two. Yes, don't even go there. You take your blender, a food processor,
She's my girl.
and then you gently or carefully take that whole banana and just like if you just shake the peel, it just falls into the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you puree that. Now you have this roasted banana flavor. I actually made a roasted banana pudding.
Oh, that sounds.
I made this roasted banana pudding. Oh my gosh! So instead of making a regular banana pudding, I actually roasted the bananas, pureed it into the pudding mixture. I made a custard from scratch, blended that in, and that was the pudding base. So you didn't have to add the flavor. And then put. I did it for a dinner party in Austin where I met one of my. Yeah, I met.
You met somebody in Austin. Something happened in Austin.
I don't know.
So, so you puree, you put it in, and then I decorate. No, I decorate it with the cookies, and I put some real nice chantilly cream on top. It was one of the best desserts I've ever done. But you can just take that, puree it, put it in a mold, and then you can eat that if it chills later. and it's phenomenal with a little bit of, again, like I said, you can unmold it on a plate, put in the chantilly
You've got to
cream
write that down
and
for me
some
before I
caramel
leave.
macadamia. It came from Roy Yamaguchi's cookbook from Roy's in Hawaii. But all right, we got 15 seconds left, so we will come back. We'll answer your questions because you have a couple questions, and
I'm going to let somebody else come in.
Okay. All right. Hey, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. This is Thursday. No throwback today. The first serving is done. Appetizers eaten. Come back. We got, super salads next. We're still going to talk food allergies, though. It's just food allergies. Okay. We'll be right back. Hold tight.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz Pro.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
And welcome back. It's Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, right here on Spoony Radio. We are back for the second course of the day. Today's, it's not Throwback Thursday. Maybe Thirsty Thursday. I hear there's some liquor coming in the second half. Third and fourth courses, maybe. Hello? Is anybody out there listening? Hello?
Hello? They're hiding.
I only have water to drink in here, which is probably good enough, but hello? Hello? I moved all the bottles. Hello? I'm just
Number
joking.
one, please.
So, again, we're here with fans of Spoony and Mojo. This is MojoCon 2019, and it's actually kind of a celebration of Doc today and tomorrow and the next day. So if you don't know who Doc Thompson is, look him up. He should be all over the internet or all over the train tracks anyways. Oh, ouch. Love you, Doc. I know Jeff's he's going to scold me right now. Jeff, I'm sorry. I love you. And Doc, dummy. All right. So, look, he was my best friend, so I can't really say anything bad. Back to food allergies, right? Today, I'm not. There's no big explanation about who I am, what I do. Y'all know I cook for a living, been a chef for a long time. I'm fortunate to have had an audience base that was already founded for me by Doc that just kind of followed me over here because Doc, we came over together and he helped get this thing rolling. But food allergies, we talk a lot about food allergies. I have a lot of private messages on Facebook, etc., and everybody wants to know, how do you overcome that? What do you do to deal with it? And why do we have them? Well, I don't always know the why, but I can help you get around the what to do. And you had asked a question a little while ago off the air about cloud bread.
Yes.
Okay, so cloud bread, if you don't know, is a gluten-free, wheat-free. It's not dairy-free. It can be dairy-free, but in this case, it's not.
Right.
But it's basically an alternative for hamburger buns.
Yes.
Because it's an easy shape to make with that particular batter or dough.
Yes.
And you had an issue. So you were having a problem with it? Was it collapsing or?
Well,
let's talk through how you make it first.
Okay.
So it's egg whites and egg yolks separated.
Yeah, you separate the egg yolks from the egg whites.
Mm-hmm.
You whip the egg whites until they're, nice and frothy, and they have the stiff peaks on them.
Yeah, I know. Where's Doc with the bell when you need him? Yes.
While that's going in your stand mixer, you need to combine your cream of tartar, the egg yolks, and the cream cheese. After that's all done, you very gently fold it in, take a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and just put it on your baking.
Dollop it out.
Just dollop it out, and then throw it in the oven.
And they make like a 5-inch bun, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah. My problem was I would get 2 buns that were, that just looked fantastic, and then, we're talking Pinterest fail kind of buns for the
2 buns
for the
are normal.
last
4 buns is an anomaly. I'm just saying that's. Yeah. Hey, Dr. Ken, come back. I have a question for you. I have 4 buns. I have a problem. Okay, so here's part of the issue. Number 1 is the cream of tartar needs to go strictly by itself into the egg whites.
Okay.
And you don't do that once the egg whites are fully whipped, right? If you need to incorporate that when they're at like 60-70% of the full volume.
Okay.
And the reason why is all that does is it helps maintain that protein structure in the. There's a bunch of reasons. It just helps maintain the little bubble that contains the air, basically. Because when you whip egg whites or anything for that matter, all you're doing, the reason it gets light and fluffy, whether it's dairy, egg, or that's pretty much the 2 that you whip, right?
Right.
It incorporates air, and therefore it holds the air inside of it's encapsulated in a little bubble, and that's what adds the volume.
Right.
Okay, so if you don't add that to the egg whites prior to them being fully whipped, just like if you're going to make a whipped cream,
okay,
and you add the sugar at the end, that crystalline structure breaks the bubbles, and then it starts to collapse the whipped cream. So when you're done, as soon as you're done with it, you have you have granules of sugar left in the byproduct, the fully incorporated whipped cream.
Okay.
But what happens is then you also stick it to weeping, right? So you have this liquid at the bottom of it, which is it's the cream collapsed, right? The bubbles break, the cream coagulates to the bottom or collects at the bottom, and that's why you have that liquid.
Right. Okay.
That's exactly what happens with egg whites.
Oh.
That's why you get weeping, right?
Right. Okay.
And that's why it's important to have the cream of tartar.
Okay.
Now, if you dilute the cream of tartar with the other product, it doesn't incorporate into the egg white. It's now incorporated into the egg yolk and the cream cheese, and that's why you're not maintaining that fluffiness of the egg white, the meringue.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one thing.
Okay.
The other one is it depends on how long you take to put that in the oven, right? So if you quickly have your pans ready and you're going to make, say, one recipe probably make 6 or 8 buns,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
It doesn't make a lot.
Yeah, and they're large, so you can probably get 4 to 6 max on a baking sheet, and you want space, so you go 4 per sheet. So you really want to get those ready ahead of time and don't let this set at all. Have them ready, the oven hot and ready to bake, and then once you get this product together, again, you want to take the cream cheese and the egg yolk and whip them together as well, so they have a light fluffiness that will fold in easily to the egg whites.
Okay.
And then when you mix that in, you want to make sure that you take about 1/3 at a time. Or less instead of putting it all in. That could be a problem too because when you're mixing, you're breaking the air bubbles, and that's why it starts to turn back into egg white instead of And so when you do that 1/3 at a time, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly incorporated. You don't want a super smooth mixture.
Okay.
It can have a little bit of streaking from the yellow that's going to be the cream cheese egg yolk mixture.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Oh, sure.
Because when it bakes, it's going to brown anyway.
Okay.
And so if you've ever noticed, trying to think if you've made, wow, it's a lot of noise out there. So, is that an Anoyatron out there? Better known as is that a human Anoyatron? It sounds like they're strangling a kitten. Poor thing. Actually, I'm deaf in this ear, so I can't really hear, but it sounded like, I don't know, somebody's crying, screaming, or jumping for joy. But
no, it was Matlock talking about the cat coolers.
Oh, yeah. Well, Matt's voice does tend to carry.
That's true.
That man has no inside voice, no filter, okay? But we love him. He used to sit in the box here every day. Poor Jeff got stuck with his job, but he used to come in for the second hour of my show after the third hour of his show, and just give me a crap every day. But it was fun because... look. Hey, look. I mean, Jeff, work on your inside. Not Jeff, Matt, work on your inside voice. Jeff, you got a great inside voice, and it's sexy.
What was the topic that you were originally talking about before you started chasing this
meringue.
rabbit hole? Yeah,
dude. You know what? I live in what's called a warren, right? You know what a warren is?
No.
A warren is a community of rabbits. You ever read Watership Down?
No.
It's
No.
only like 720 odd pages. They made
There's
that.
your reason why.
Oh,
Yeah, I was in
There's- if it
6th
didn't
grade.
have pictures, I
It only
wasn't
took me
reading it.
6th, 7th, 8th, 9th to get through that book.
wow.
Hey, man, we got all sorts of visitors
Timmy
coming. Look.
Pilot.
Yes. We got,
Oh,
man.
wow.
No, that's like that's a real pilot, too. Now, he's not, look, he's even got the little bars up there. Look, he looks all
Wow.
official. That's cool. We got some real, hey,
Cool.
we got bigwigs coming in today.
I'd say
feel like,
so.
Oh, and he's flipping the double bird to Matt. Okay, so what's so cool, because most of our listeners and viewers on Facebook Live have not been in the studio, is basically we took 3 offices and divided them into 4 spaces. So one office is this studio. All right, it's bigger than it looks. It's I don't know if it's bigger than it looks. It's like 22 feet by 12 feet. And then in between, there's another room that's divided in the middle, and that's the 2 control booths. So Jeff faces me, and Ron faces the other side. Depending on who's working what, it doesn't matter. But there are 2 control booths with a solid wall between it and a door so you can walk between.
Right.
But there are windows between my room and Jeff, our control room, and between the 2 control rooms, there's another window, and between that control room and the 3rd office, which is the other studio, and we can see all the way through. So we see everything that happens in that studio, everything that anyone talking from control booth 1 into that studio is saying, and they can see everything we do. So on occasion, when no one's looking and we're not live, and you can't see, I mean, Matt will look over and we'll kind of, do some, it's kind of the hand signal stuff. But I'm telling you, it makes for a lively, fun show. Yeah, the only thing I'm missing over there is Doc's shadow on the wall, sitting over there like waving something probably unfriendly at me, but laughing at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so just so you get a visual of what it's like end to end, and sometimes I'll actually get up and do a Facebook Live maybe right after, and I'll just show everybody what it looks like end to end, and Jeff can sit there and go, dude, just shake your head like you normally do. Just be Jeff.
It's easy to do.
I know.
It's the only way I know.
I never disappoint in that respect, too. I never disappoint.
Thank
So, but back to what we were saying. So, egg whites are very fragile. They
Right.
have a very tiny structure which holds the air.
Okay.
And so, that's the last thing you want to do is mix something in right before.
Okay.
And what if you do this? You may find an alternative flour to put a little bit of alternative flour in there. So here's the secret to a souffle that never collapses: is regular a little bit of regular flour mixed in with.
Okay.
You incorporate that into a souffle is basically egg whites whipped, and then you put a pastry cream or it's a custard basically, cooked custard. If you mix some flour into that pastry cream after it's cooked, you fold that entire thing into the egg whites with the cream of tartar.
Right.
Then you're actually building a glutinous structure, which is what holds bread up.
Okay.
Right? That's the gluten
Right.
is the key.
Right.
So you can take that gluten, and you could probably use an alternative flour though. Find the best gluten-free alternative to hold the structure of that bubble,
Okay.
and whatever that is, you could add a
All
little
right.
bit to that and try
Okay.
it. I'll bet it'd work.
Wow.
And it would be a lot easier. It's going to hold the structure much better. It's kind of a foolproof version,
Okay.
which is Jacques Pepin, by the way. Thank you very much, Master Chef Jacques Pepin. He and Julia Childs had their show together for a long time.
Okay.
He's the one that I learned that from one of his secrets. I mean, he didn't tell me he didn't whisper it in my ear, even though I knocked him on his ass up at the.
Oh my.
Oh, I was at the Aspen Food Wine Festival. I've told this story many times. I'm sorry if you've heard it already this week, but I was up there. I opened the bathroom door. This is in 1999, 98, 97, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
And I opened the door. I pushed it really hard. He's right behind me. Boom. And he's a small guy.
Oh no.
Okay, this is one of the. There are only. I want to find out exactly. I want to lie. Okay, so number of master chefs in the world. Okay. Really, number of master chefs is really, really. It's less than 100, I think. 70 something. Okay, number of master chefs in the entire world. In the U.S., there are 67. No, sorry, in the entire world, 67 CMCs, certified master chefs.
Wow.
He's one. Now they have master of French, which is a different thing. It's something that the French government or their culinary body issues.
Okay.
And one of those 67. Now they're probably 50 in
Okay.
the late 90s, and I probably could have killed. I'm glad I didn't kill him. God, I'd have been in culinary prison for the rest of my life. I'd be in purgatory peeling potatoes for 50 years.
Yeah, that would not be good.
I know.
I'd
Anyway.
rather have you here.
So yeah, so he is one of the he divulged that secret because French chefs have been known for these amazing souffles, and he's like, here's how we do it. Here's how we do it, right? We put a little flour in the. I suck at a French accent. Dad didn't teach me well. Okay,
Oh.
all right. So
I had one more question.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't tell me this one. You just wrote this one down. All right, hey, wait a minute. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro here on Spoony Radio. Hi, everybody. Wait, hey, smile and wave. Yes, they can see you. No, they can't, but smile and wave. Just pretend. All right. Today we have a lot of special guests in the house. We have about 50 to 60, maybe 70 people, as many as 70 showing up for what was going to be a celebration and is a celebration of Mojo 50, our sister channel over there, MojoCon 2019, and is also going to be a celebration of life for Doc Thompson, which for the many who couldn't make it to his service in Ohio a couple months ago. So what we're doing today is we're talking about some food allergies, some food fun. I'm sure second half is going to involve some liquor. And more drinking. So
I like drinking. Is good.
Yeah,
drinking is fun.
You know what? Yeah, it's funny because everybody's like, drink more. I don't need to drink more. Trust me, just more water's good. So you had a second question though, because we've answered the cloud bread question, which is why did it collapse?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, what temp were you baking on as well?
Oh, 350, I think.
Go up. 375, 400. Try that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's going to set the structure faster before it starts to weep.
Okay.
All
right, that sounds good.
Whatever, dude. I'm going to try it. I don't believe you. All right. So what do we got?
Okay. I'm from Valparaiso, Indiana. We have...
I'm joking. I don't.
You could...
Well, come on. That's Matt's part of the countryside.
I know. We have an amazing chocolatier, and he does... Chef Richard does an incredible caramel sauce and he adds George T. Stagg whiskey to it. I mean, this is so incredible. This is lick the steering wheel. This is like the steering wheel kind of good.
You spill it on the carpet, you're going to... Yeah, exactly. I don't waste a drop.
No, you do not waste a drop of this caramel. My question, how do you add the whiskey to the caramel?
You have to add at the end.
At the end.
At the end. So what happens, caramel, and there's no such thing as caramel. It's a city in California. But no, I say caramel all the time. Because my listeners, somebody's going to find it. Chef Patrick, there's no such thing as caramel. It's caramel, and it's just, it's basically sugar melted down in the pan to a state where it doesn't start to reharden, but it gets caramel. So let's talk about caramelization in general, what that term means. It's the browning of a sugar.
Right.
Okay, so that's why meat it's caramelized on the outside. When you sear a steak, it's the sugars, not the protein. It's the sugar in there that changes form.
Steak.
I know. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Oh. So hungry for a steak.
Yes.
No more hamburgers. No comments on that. But so that's what that is, right? It's a caramelization process is the burning of a sugar, basically.
Okay.
So when you make caramel, you want to slowly, right, take that sugar in a pan. It's just sugar.
Right.
And you basically burn the sugar. The problem is when you get to that point and you just have sugar, it's either hot and sear all the way a hole through your tongue and stays liquid, or when it cools down, it reforms. It gets hard. Right? It becomes brittle. It's brittle candy.
Right.
So you have to incorporate something into either cream or butter or something to keep it soft. Right?
Okay.
Which is where caramel chews come from.
Right.
That's basically like butter caramels. That's sugar, butter, dairy, or alternative fat to keep it soft and chewy.
Right.
Same thing.
Okay.
So he did that. But if you add the whiskey in ahead of time, that water in there doesn't allow the or any liquid, doesn't matter what it is. But with that, it doesn't allow the sugars to crystallize the same way, or to caramelize rather, to burn, char, so to speak.
Okay.
And so if you do that, you could add the whiskey to stop the process. Like I make caramel all the time. I talked about that caramel macadamia nut sauce I put on, or macadamia caramel sauce I put on the banana, banana pudding that I make, the pureed roasted bananas. But you have to be really careful because that sugar is so hot, and if you don't take it off the heat and let it cool for I actually take the bottom of the pan and I'll put it over an ice bath and shock the bottom of the pan to stop it from being, because when you pour that cream in, it bubbles. I mean, it bubbles like really quickly. The same thing is going to happen with any liquid you add in there, alcohol. And if you have it over flame and you add alcohol, there's a chance, because it's going to steam and it's going to do that explosive reaction,
right,
that some of the vapor is going to catch fire from the flame.
And that would not be good. So I always
pull it off the heat.
Okay.
Turn the flame off, and then once you incorporate it, then put it back over if you need to reheat it or loosen it up a little bit.
Okay.
But again, Dairy for me is a key component, like regular whole milk or cream especially,
Right.
to that kind of a product. But there's always an alternative. I'll look and see what you can put in there besides that.
Okay.
You could probably use if you use a plant-based butter or something, or a plant-based milk.
Okay.
It's not going to be the same because basically
Sure.
that's emulsified water with some protein from the plant.
Yeah.
And it won't work the same because there's not the same fat content.
Right.
So we'll figure it out though. But there's got to be a way to do it. And you could even the liquid that may be enough liquid in it to just keep it emulsified and not have to worry about adding any sort of dairy to it anyway.
Okay. It just blows my mind. I mean, food chemistry just if you change just one ingredient, it changes the entire product.
Well, so we're going to get to, or we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to some issues with diabetes and dietary needs that way. But when, well, let's get into let's. All right, yeah, there you go. I know no guy likes to put a phallic-looking thing up in front of his mouth.
Can you hear me okay there, Jeff?
Oh yeah, you got
good.
a voice that carries. But we had a question specifically about sugar alternatives
Right.
because you have
diabetes, right?
Okay.
So
type 2 diabetes.
Well, yeah, type
And
2.
How long you been dealing with
it
this?
was about a year.
Okay.
Now they had me on the VA had me on the metformin stuff, and so the more physical I became, and the less the better my diet was, I lost the weight. So now I don't do any kind of medication whatsoever. Okay.
Well, that's good.
So now, what I'm finding out is when I'm going down the road, well, the only alternative for anything is stuff with sugar in it. I mean, raw sugar, cane sugar, whatever.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out a way, and I'm kind of one of the people I want to automate stuff. I want it because if you're making a lunch, if you make one batch of eggs, we'll go ahead and make 5 for the whole day, or 3 or 2 or whatever.
Right.
So the wife went and made the little chocolate balls, and well, she'd be watching this, but they were really yummy. Not, but she tried, and so we tried this, and I think that the dough, she already knew that it wasn't really going to taste that well, because the dough was made with stevia. And it really didn't turn out quite well. And I was thinking, well, maybe can you make it the dough, get it all set, and when it's done, then sprinkle stevia on top. That way you kind of bypass, like you're talking about with the chemical structure stuff. You've already did the dough, and then sprinkle on top, and then you maybe bypass that.
I hate stevia. Sorry. I don't use it. Oh, I didn't say. I'm sorry. Damn. Was my mic? I thought I had muted. No. Okay. I don't actually. I don't like most sweeteners that are sugar alternatives because they have an overly sweet, almost chemical flavor to them. Right.
Yeah.
There are some things though that are really good substitutes. Agave tends to be one.
Okay.
But agave has kind of a medium glycemic index. And so it can increase the blood sugar levels, depending on what it is, which brand. Well, there's one called, I want to say it's called Volcanic brand. It's an agave product. I think you can only buy it online. But it's a super ultra low glycemic. The glycemic index is really low, which means the increase in blood sugar is minute compared to most other sweeteners.
Okay.
There are some other things you can do. You can take honey and use just honey's like 20 to 50 times sweeter than sugar. I forgot the exact conversion ratio.
Okay.
It's way sweeter, and it's almost sickeningly sweet sometimes. Like I love raw honey. I used to eat it out of the comb as a kid. My dad would scrape the bees off and take a big chunk, and that was dessert sometimes in the summertime.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know, weird family, but
that's
yeah,
all right.
It was a good way to grow up.
Yeah.
But you only need a minute amount of that, so your actual intake ratio or intake amount per portion is a lot lower in ratio to what sugar would be to get the same sweetness.
Okay.
And the glycemic index per tablespoon per tablespoon it's a little higher, but it's not that much different.
Okay.
There are some other things you can use, like date sugar, things like that are lower in glycemic index. There are a lot of different things, but stevia for me is not quite as bad as a true artificial sweetener,
right?
Any of the pink or blue packets, or other ones. But I just don't like. There's a specific taste I don't like. Liquid, like I'll put it in coffee. I just don't like. I'd rather drink it black,
right,
or have sugar, because I like sugar.
Yeah,
I know
that's why I look the way I do.
Nah,
and I put some in the tea. In tea, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it's not as bad,
and that wasn't so bad, right? Mm-hmm. But with the baking thing, it really just didn't. It just didn't quite carry over like it should. And I was also going to ask too. So since somebody wants to control that the blood sugar, somebody was telling me something about some potato bread or some kind of bread that you can make that still tastes pretty decent, and then with the stevia and the tea, and you can get a better taste that way. I don't know about what kind of bread you can make that's low in
low in glycemia. You know what? There's there's some different breads we can talk about. So there's controversy about whole grain and things like this, especially since Dr. Gundry came out with his book, right? He's a world-renowned physician, nutritionist, and there are these things called lectins in plants, right? You know, people that are allergic to nightshades, so sweet potatoes. Potatoes in general, things.
Right.
It's not one type of vegetable; it's a group of vegetables, right? Or a fruit of the vine,
right?
And so, eggplant, bell peppers, they all have a high percentage of lectin, a high content of lectins, in it, which is a protein. Well, that lectin is actually a protective development. It's something that staves off both insect and animal consumers of that fruit, that vegetable or fruit. Vegetables, not in fruit.
Right.
And so lectins, so that's something that we also tend to have, some people have allergies to, right, that particular protein. Now, this total plant-based diet for some people is just not, it's not possible, right? We need some other form of protein. There's no complete protein in plants. There's not one out there.
Right.
There are some that have 13 to 14 amino acids, like wild rice, right?
So,
hey,
Nostalgia.
look at that, SpoonyWildRice.com. That was unintended, but if you have not been to Spoony Wild Rice, which is Nostalgia, which I can't spell and you probably can't either, you should go check it out. It's a wonderful couple, Jay and Lori, and they are just amazing people who harvest wild rice, have it harvested for them. They have both what do you call it? Cultivated and wild rice, like naturally wild.
Right.
And they have it in different processed forms. They have wild rice flour, which is it's gluten free. It is really high in protein content. 13 to 14 amino acids.
Right.
It's very low in glycemic index. It's very nutritionally dense. It's a wonderful product that if you're trying to, again, change your diet, maybe you can't eat white rice or potatoes or things like that anymore, you can try something like wild rice, which is really high on the protein scale and really low on the carbohydrate scale. So your caloric, your blood sugar reaction is much different, right? And you can use that as a base, not just as a side dish, but for salads, add it to soups. They actually have some great soup mixes that incorporate that into it. And man, we took they make a polenta. They make 2 or 3 savory polentas. We took the leftovers of that. It's basically crushed wild rice with seasoning.
Okay.
Took that the next day and added a little bit of a flour. I actually used a gluten-free flour from them. That was their wild rice flour, a couple of eggs, and some baking powder in there. Oh my goodness! I put a little bit, just a touch of sugar to take the edge off the savory part.
Right.
One time I made chicken and waffles where I shredded up rotisserie chicken, put it in, and made that in the waffle iron just like that, with a fried egg, a little maple syrup from them, and a little bit of hot sauce on top. And then when they came to visit, we actually made chocolate waffles. We took that same basic recipe and just added cocoa powder and just enough sugar to make it slightly sweet, and served it with a scoop of ice cream on top. It didn't suck. I'll tell you, no, it was really good. They have all sorts of stuff: beer-infused jellies, jams. They have choke cherry jelly if you never had stuff like that. So if you know what it doesn't matter if you know what it is. Go order, try their product. That's SpoonyWildRice.com. Jay and Lori from Nostalgia. And I think if you use Mother's Day. So if you use what is it, Mother 5, Mother 10, Mother 10. So use the discount code Mother 10 on checkout, and you'll get 10% off. They have this beautiful gift box that's for Mother's Day. It has all sorts of really cool stuff in there. So, all right, back to the thing. It's got a cool candle in there too. It is not rice based; it's soy based. But
just don't eat the candle.
Well, it depends on where. Teach their own.
Yeah.
Do what you feel.
Fair enough.
We're not condoning nor condemning. All right. So back to the artificial sweeteners versus sugar or other alternatives. There are a bunch of things out that they're coming out with in baking. All right. So was it the flavor in the end product, or was it the texture? Was it because you use stevia instead of sugar for these chocolate not cake balls, but were they kind of
like a brownie ball?
Exactly.
Okay. And so and what I was thinking. It's like an aftertaste of sorts. Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily the structure; it was the flavor.
Yeah, and sometimes what I look at. So, my whole life, you and Doc had talked about this texture or aroma. Okay. So So now you got used to biscuits and gravy for all these years. How do you replace that? You got used to brownies. How do you replace that?
It's all like a hockey puck, you know.
Right. So it's,
no offense. It's
right,
tough.
Right. It's tough. And so it's kind of hard to plan it that way. But I know that when you get certain amount of sugar, you're at your limit.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you eat less or do you eat more of something that you can regulate more?
That's up to the person. So do you spread that out through your entire dietary intake throughout the day, or do you splurge one time? The difference with splurging is that it's harder for your body to recover from that. So what happens is you overeat some sort of something that's going to spike your blood sugar level, and then you have to take an insulin shot. Whereas if you spread it out, then I think you're more likely to have a less intense reaction, and therefore recovery is much easier. Or you don't feel it at all. You don't notice that reaction in your body. Right. Because your blood sugar gets high, you get
my
cold
blood sugar.
sweats.
I went to the VA, and all my stuff is fine. When I was up in Wyoming working out there in an oil patch, they had me on the metformin, and I went down to 70 or 67. I'm like, holy smokes! So I run and got me a Snickers bar and got back up, and I told them, I said, no more.
So it's funny because whether it's high or low, you feel the same.
When you get low, you get sweaty.
Yeah, the other way you still get shaky and like a blurred vision.
Yeah, you get kind of tired too.
Yep. All right. So hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We got a 4-minute break at the top of the hour. Again, we're here with the fans at MojoCon here, the Jackhole Nation, Chef Patrick Mosher. Coming up, course 3, the meat of the matter, the main course. Don't miss out. We'll be coming back in 4 minutes. Thank you.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump gathered today with religious leaders to observe the National Day of Prayer. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports.
Christian pastors and leaders of other religious faiths were among those who gathered with the president in the Rose Garden.
Today we give thanks for this magnificent country, and we proudly come together as one nation under God.
The president offered prayers for the people of Venezuela, who he said are in a righteous struggle for freedom. He condemned recent attacks on houses of worship and highlighted his administration's commitment to religious liberty. Greg Clugston, the White House.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Attorney General William Barr has committed a crime with his remarks to Congress. Pelosi says Barr lied about the letter Special Counsel Robert Mueller sent him.
What is deadly serious about it is the Attorney General of the United States of America was not telling the truth to the Congress of the United States. That's a crime.
The Department of Justice spokeswoman says Pelosi's comments were reckless. Barr testified Wednesday to a Senate panel about Mueller's report, but boycotted today's House hearing. Democrats were going to have staff attorneys question the Attorney General. Also at townhall.com, correspondent Greg Katz reports WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange told a court that he will fight extradition to the U.S., where he is accused of conspiring with former U.S. soldier Chelsea Manning to hack a Pentagon computer.
He had dozens of supporters outside the courtroom who couldn't get in, and they were furious at being excluded, and they were chanting and condemning the judge and screaming, "Shame on you," to the judge. So it was fairly dramatic in there and quite disrupted. It was a small courtroom and a lot of people trying to get in.
Assange was sentenced Wednesday to 50 weeks in prison in the UK for jumping bail in 2012. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who is honest and upfront. No hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
All right, here we are, Food Biz Pro Show, Chef Patrick Mosher. We are here for the meat of the matter, the main course. Course 3 is up. Yeah, I know, 4 courses every day, blah, 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 it gets old. No, it doesn't. We're having fun. We talk food, fun, family, travel, Jackhole Nation, Doc, drink. We like drink.
Absolutely.
All right, so I know everybody out there watches all the time, and they think, oh, gosh, Chef Patrick must drink so much. No, not really. Mostly on Wednesday, when we do the Wind Down Wednesday, I have one single drink during the show.
Hi, Matt.
And, oh, no, get the hell out of here. What's up, Matt? Come sit.
I love
Come
it.
Come sit.
I love the round robin of it.
All right, Matt Locke coming in the studio. Cheers. Was it Peroni for you?
Drink.
Or does it matter?
No, it was for me.
By the way.
Cool. I'm just here to sit.
I didn't know you like Peroni. It's one of my favorites, man. I worked at a couple of Italian restaurants. One actually in, the favorite one I ever worked at, that's where the chef threw a knife at my head. That's why I'm not there anymore. Yep. It was called Tony Rigatoni's in Morrison and Golden, Colorado. The one in Golden was like literally right down the street from the Coors Brewery, like 2 blocks. And at the end of the shift, at the 5:30 whistle blows. Throngs of people headed down the hill and back up the hill, like 2 blocks to Tony Rigatoni's, where we would sling pasta and all sorts of pizzas. And I'm telling you, we did this one that was like this topped stuffed pizza, deep dish like that. Oh, hey, look at you trying to promote me over here. Good, I love you. Thank you. But what was cool is we put the dough inside. That dough is made every day, and it fermented for 3-4 days in the fridge, and we let it slow rise, and then portioned it and let it rise again, and then cooled it and did it one last time before we baked it. Yeah. But we'd take this deep dish pizza pan. It was like a 12-inch pizza pan. We'd put the bottom crust in, and then I don't know if you've ever seen this movie called Big Night, but it's about the opening of this Italian restaurant in 50s New York, and these two Italian brothers, they're failing. So they do one big night where everything's free. It's just to blow out all this amazing food.
That's the way to do it.
They make this thing called a timpano, right? It's like a timpani drum. It's this big, it's got layers of meat, Italian sausage. It was kind of like that. It was there was a little bit of sauce on the bottom, and then we put ricotta, and it was awesome. Oh my gosh, there was a ton of fresh spinach, and then Italian sausage on top of that, and roasted red bell peppers, and all this other fresh ingredients, and then you topped it. So it was like this pie, an actual pie baked in a pie tin, a deep dish pie tin, but it was a pizza. And I'll tell you what, that is the single best baked dish I've ever, any better than any pie, pizza pie I've ever had. They don't have it on the menu anymore. I was up there recently, and I was like, whoa, man, I can't ever go back and eat your stuff anymore. They made it for me anyway, though, fortunately. But
it sounds like a upside down pizza. Like there was one I've seen where they bake it in like a little container there, and then they flip it over upside down for you on your plate.
Yeah, that's a big thing now where they do that, right? It's made inverted, and then you fold it out, and you can do it at home actually. And so, by the way, we have Matt Locke in studio. Matt,
well, hello there, Chef Patrick.
I miss you being in the booth over there. I like Jeff there, but I mean, what's up, man? Look, hey.
You act like you listen to my show. I came in here just to listen. I am Chef Patrick's biggest fan.
Maybe.
You're my biggest cheerleader. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Biggest, tallest.
He's a bit of a fangirl.
I don't know. Whiskey's a pretty big fan.
Okay, so Sean and I, Whiskey 6.
I will fight Sean over Patrick.
I got money on Sean.
He's kind of scrappy.
Just saying.
Yeah, the ex-military scrappy guys. You don't watch him.
Oh, yeah.
But we went to high school together. He's a year or two behind me in high school in Chandler, Arizona. But I'll tell you, he has been very, very kind, very generous with his time, and just promoting me, especially us on the Spoony channel on Facebook. And it's fun. The Chandler High School, the alumni page, he'll put out there. He puts the hashtag out, and he's like, "Don't forget, Patrick has a show on." It's just cool. He's just a class guy, class act, nice guy. And I was with you guys on a show a little while ago.
Oh yeah,
we loved you.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the best interview you'll ever listen to is this guy.
Oh yeah.
And you know, we do politics on the other side, but the food, Spoony would not be here if it weren't for Chef Patrick.
I'll drink to that.
I believe that.
I'm drinking.
Cheers. And so those of you that don't know, we have this family of listeners, the Jackhole Nation, also now the Spoony Nation. We'll call the Spooners. Hey, too much Spoony leads to Forky. All right. And so
I like it.
Two of our favorite, I don't say fans, two of our favorite listeners that have been around forever. We got Peachy, all right, but actually, I call you Apples, right? Because
yeah, you do.
We say you're from New York, you're really from up north. That's like the 51st state, or the New York City annex, known as Canada.
Yes.
And then we have Rusty Lugnuts, which I brought you a can of WD-40 and some fish oil. Just saying.
Look at you solving problems.
Hey, no, that's the thing. So Spoony would have to solve problems. We're just bringing you to the table.
I love it. That's my favorite.
And that was one of the coolest taglines that Doc and I ever worked on. Was so what do we I said, look, we're not solving problems. You bring people to the table so you can just discuss. And he goes,
that's it.
And he wrote it. And he's got that big voice radio guy that does the Mojo stuff over there, and we have the other guy that does the stuff over here. And I'm telling you, man, it's been fun ever since. There's never a moment when we have absolute downtime here.
Right.
Which is probably good, because Matt and I would sit around and go, "Hey man, next round's on me. It's free. It's in the fridge."
Well, you know why I'm in here. I'm hiding from the Jackhole Nation.
Aww,
we have a whole room full of people out here for the studio and love them to death. But I just did a 3-hour show. Stephen Airy came in. I've been drinking. He's coming in here with you next. Yes, I just came in to say hey.
And Raider.
They're coming in. And Raider brought me cigars.
We love Raider.
Vodka.
His presents are the best.
So Raider, Harold, he brings us every other week. He has a Friday off. He does some therapy stuff, physical therapy. He comes in here, though, and he brings us probably a couple $100 worth of liquor and a couple cases of beer.
He brought about $1,000 worth of liquor today.
Probably.
Dude, can I tell you, I'd rather have the cash. I'm just actually, as an Irishman, I think they just revoked my Irishman's card.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, because this is the currency of Ireland right here. He's got the hat to prove it.
And also MojoCon.
Somehow I got a hold of this Peroni. Never heard of it.
It's Italian. Peroni.
With your fingers.
Beer.
Peroni and Moretti are two of my favorites.
I thought Peroni was one of them little.
It's a pierogi.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
Peroni.
And he's the one that keeps us on track.
It's all a dumpling to me.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. So, during
what happens when I come into the room.
I see everyone gets distracted.
So Matt's always big spoon because I can't. I'm not tall enough to reach around him. So he comes in, he sits down, and he got on there. I'm like a schoolgirl getting giddy. Not really. Matt and I have a great time joking around in the studio. And by the way, I'll be in his show tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll do
beer for brunch.
So it used to be beer for breakfast.
Now it's beer for brunch, but we're by the way, drink.
Oh crap.
So tomorrow, Chef, we're doing beer for brunch all 3 hours. I know you can't, but we're going to start early.
No, that's fine. You all can start early. I'll do my half an hour, maybe a little longer, but I have to, Friday's my travel day, right? I that's my food, fun, and family weekends, right? So, and work sometimes, but so I travel on Fridays. I have to really be careful how much I drink. On your show, and B, if I drink on my show.
Is a drink? A. You said how much I drink? A?
No. In Canada, yes, A is a drink. A. Everything's A. But I have to tell you, I do have a Plan B, right? You heard about that? No. So I trademarked something called Plan B. It's a distilling company. Yeah. So basically, when Plan A doesn't work out, there's always Plan B. You have the multi.
What plan was this? Was Spoony
this was not on the roadmap. I don't know. I don't even know. I'll be honest with you.
That map behind us?
Yeah. So, my car broke down on the way to Amarillo one time. I had a drink in this cafe, man. I was walking down the street. Doc picked me up at hitchhiking. He gave me a drink of liquor, and I said, man, we need a job that pays. And I'm just joking. Hey, thanks. Anyway, no, what happened was.
My chef.
Yeah, thank Matt. I appreciate Matt. You are the biggest. He's the biggest advertiser of Spoony too.
Absolutely,
Yes.
he does
And,
a great job talking about everybody.
and we don't have to pay him, so that's a great thing. No extra, any extra. We pay him in beer for breakfast Fridays.
Yeah.
But no, so I never realized what radio was, right? I always thought radio was like this magical. It is. It's a magical kingdom. It's everything's behind the curtain, though. It's like the Wizard of Oz, but you never get to see backstage. And when I got to view behind the scenes with Doc, and I started meeting people, and I started realizing this is just a platform to broadcast, to disseminate your information, regardless of what it is, whether it's educational, informal, inspirational, or for profit. Right? It's or just for the hell of it. Right?
Just for yes.
Drink.
I tell you, no one's doing what you're doing at Spoony, and I'm so excited to see what you guys become in another year or so.
Well,
it's fantastic. It's amazing.
Thank you. Well, and the thing is, as a chef, you could affect the people that work in your restaurant and the people that are associated and dine in your restaurant and their extended families, right? You can have an effect that may change their day. You may not just change their day, you may change their perception on what good food is, right? Or what you should eat and shouldn't eat, and how you should treat each other in a workplace. You can affect people directly. And then as I became a consulting chef, I thought, still doing openings, still working full time, but consulting on the side. Okay, well, if I worked with 1,000 restaurants in the next 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, I can affect 30 to 50,000 people a year that dine at that restaurant, or however many people it is. And then I found this, right? And Doc was like, "Hey, let's just grow your consulting services. We'll make he came up with celebrity chef Patrick Mosher, right? And I'm like, that's cool. He goes, well, you've been on television once, so why not be your celebrity chef now? I'm like, hey, whatever, Bill. I like the billing. I'll take the paycheck, which I didn't realize there's no paycheck associated 3 years ago.
He conveniently left that part out.
Well, actually, that was my efforts, right? It became about advertising me as an authority in the industry, right? So all right, I'm going to teach you all a lesson here, and this is a giveaway that I paid about $50,000 for right now.
All right.
No, hey. No playing. Yes, it's the little one. It's the little one, not the big one. The little fiddle. Yes, thank you. So, perception is that those that have a voice, either in any kind of broadcasting, doesn't matter if you're TV or radio, that you're an instant authority, which gives you celebrity status, right? Okay. And unfortunately, the food service industry, we have these celebrity chefs that have come out over the last 25, 30 years, mostly the last 20. Since Food Network started, and they're not just celebrities; they have rock star status. All right?
Yeah, they do.
So no matter, because I'll tell you what, I hear people talk about Cajun and Creole food, and these are really educated chefs, and you're full of crap because there's
nice.
Well, not now. It's all blended. But when you talk about the history of Cajun versus Creole, which is just one of my passions, is that regional food. There's a big distinction, right? Cajun is distinctly French based. The Acadians floated down the Mississippi during the War 1812, blah, blah, blah. They were kicked out by the English. They ended up in the Mississippi Delta, right there around the New Orleans area, Louisiana, basically. Okay, that's Cajun. Acadian became Cajun. It got shortened all right. But if you think about their language is very close to Quebecois, the French regional language of Quebec in that area. Well, okay, that aside, it doesn't matter what you say on TV. If you say it, for the most part, most people believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say it with confidence, anybody will believe it.
Most of the time, because you have that instant celebrity status, right? You are now a celebrity. You're an iconic representative, an authority in your industry. Well, for me, I am authority in it. I love what I do. I want to share that passion. So this medium, I'm not talking about instant celebrity, but it gave me a platform to really spread the love, the passion I have for cooking, and to hopefully inspire some people to want to broaden their horizon.
Does that transfer to radio as well? If you say it on radio, people
believe it.
Hey, look, man, one of the biggest radio shows in the whole country, right? That's broadcast locally from the Irving area. He's been dead for 10 damn years.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, no, he died in like 2014, 5-6 years ago. Kid Craddock.
Still on the air?
His show, Kid Craddock show, is one of the biggest shows in the country. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So his wife and I think it's his daughter and so the other show, the co-hosts, they carried on that show.
Wow.
Now, granted, he already kind of had celebrity status, but it does. I mean, if you are good at what you do and you have a message that's clear, which mine is not always clear because I got rabbit holes, but if you share that passion, people see it. You know, they eventually they see through you one way or the other.
Right.
They find that behind the smoke and mirrors, it's either real or it's not. You can only BS. Doc used to say you can only BS for so long.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, best lesson I ever learned for the radio is that you'll know when I pick a story that I chose for the listen. No, it happens, and I'll break down the middle story. Again, man, all right. You know what? Bad story. Wrong choice. Next.
Yeah.
Because I choose something I think the listeners want to hear instead of something I'm passionate about that I can share from, that's heart centered, or just I want to throw it out there so people either laugh, cry, or try it.
Yep.
Or all three. So you find out right away when people are not telling you something that they believe in and they're not fully behind. It's just for content. Yeah. You'll notice. And it's funny because I've stopped doing that and it seems to be going better.
It works much better. You can tell someone being genuine, I think, through this medium better than anything else.
Well, yeah. So that just makes me want to say, I am a stud.
Because
you're on the radio now for
I'm on the radio,
how many times today?
And
now
I
you're a
say
celebrity.
It, and so ladies, I am.
So we are going to bronze your rusty lug nuts someday and hang them on the wall next to your baby boo.
We'll auction
Okay.
them off and use it to finish your studio or your kitchen.
So
Spoony needs
my
a
gosh.
kitchen.
You know what? I'm going to ask where that came from. I mean. So if you don't know, these are their Twitter handles, by the way.
Yes.
So if you want to check them out, actually, it's a great group of people that listen to the shows, and I couldn't ask for a more supportive listener base. And by the way, Off Track.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that was one of the most fun shows I've ever done.
You were a fantastic interview.
So
yes.
So I don't know. So here's the thing. I don't know if I like. So Matt always says I'm better. I'm a great guest. I'm like the best guest. That's what I do best, is be a guest as an interview, subject. And I'm like, well, that's cool, And then I listen to the show. I was like, wow, I don't remember saying that. Wow, that was really funny.
Yes.
Huh, where did that come from?
You have so many interesting stories and such wonderful things to
I
say.
got a lot of stories, all right.
See, the good
full up to here. My eyes are brown.
The really other good stuff was between the shows during the breaks when we were talking, and I saved all that.
Oh,
and,
no, did you?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, that's awesome stuff.
Yes.
We call it blackmail.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what's really funny is when we got brought. So Sean and I, Whiskey Sis, got talking about Chandler, Arizona, where we both went to. We grew up as teenagers, and it was, I swear, it was a little cow town. It was like literally less than 40 or 45,000 people. It was all alfalfa fields, hay, and some cantaloupe, and some hog farms, and one dairy. Right, as far as you could see, nothing outside of the literal downtown area, which is like a 40 block by 40 block area. Nothing. I don't think it was 40 blocks. It was 20 by 20. And now it's this gigantic place. And you're all like, okay, not all of us lived in Arizona. Can you all get back on topic?
Yeah, we were
Who cares
trying
about
to
the
keep you on
stories?
track.
No, but I'm telling you, it's the changes we've seen since we were all children. Okay, well, I'm a little longer than you. And
Well, anywhere.
a little more than you anyway. But
a lot longer than me.
Really?
Come
We're
on.
going to talk about ages?
No.
It's rude.
47.
Yeah, well, I'm 51. That's cool. You're like 19. Stop. It's okay. By the way, check that for alcohol, would you? Monitor her.
But,
She's your. Yeah.
Oh, Rusty's responsibility this weekend?
No.
Hey.
I don't need a babysitter, guys.
No.
Well, I thought he was offering at least.
He's a bodyguard.
So that's funny. Yes.
I only have you for a couple minutes, and I need to know how to
7
make
minutes.
fried chicken because I ruin it every time, and you're the chef. So
Fried
tell me,
chicken.
how do I make
All right,
fried
I'm going to
chicken?
close the laptop. I'm not. All right, guys, I'll comment later to Facebook and stuff. 'cause
Thank
we're,
you.
We're talking fried chicken. All
Yes,
right.
and I can't do it.
I love healthy food. I'll eat anything you tell me I should eat. Put it in front of me. I will try. I literally will. Wow. No. So flour, right? Flour is a big deal in the kitchen, and the way that you batter something is super important.
Okay.
But you season the protein, whether it's you're making chicken fried steak or chicken fried chicken or fried chicken, doesn't matter. You season that, but then you also season the flour because otherwise you get this flour with no flavor.
Right.
And so that mix is key. And I was making fried chicken one time, and a bunch of it, like, I don't know, 70 or 80 pounds of fried chicken. And so I was seasoning the flour. And one of the cooks goes, "Oh, so how do you know what the taste is? How do you know when to stop seasoning?" So I put some in my hand. I licked it off, and I just ate the dry flour. He goes, "Dude, you're hardcore." I said, "Wait till I eat a raw egg to see if it's good." And I'm like, "It's just dry flour
Well,
with
how
seasoning."
else do you
in it."
know?
Exactly. And so there are a couple things. Key is season not just the protein, this case chicken, or the liquid that you're going to brine it in or soak it in. You don't really brine it, but and then secondly, season the coating.
Okay,
that's key. Secondly, I cut the chicken into 8 pieces and I marinate it in buttermilk for a while.
And then overnight or what's a while?
At least 3 or 4 hours. If you're going to do it for any more than a couple hours, you can do it at room temp. Just you have to. There's a time limit, right?
Yeah.
I usually stick to an hour. I always do everything in a refrigeration.
Yes.
I turn it 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But I season the buttermilk, not the protein itself, because it washes off in the buttermilk. So I put salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. If I want a different flavor, I'll put some like chipotle powder in there.
I need to take
smoky
notes.
flavor. But I don't put anything that's true heat, because to me, fried chicken is not hot.
Yeah.
It's a sauce you put on after that makes it hot. Right.
Okay.
All right. So it's just, it's simple. And then you can put in some herbs and spices, other herbs and spices, but it's just simple. Garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper. Those are the 4. And paprika, that just adds a little color to it, and it enhances it without giving it heat.
Okay.
So then you take, after you've soaked it in the buttermilk for quite a while, I don't even shake the extra buttermilk off. But what I do is I put the flour in a bag, an old paper bag. And this, my grandma used to make it this way, my mother. You throw all the chicken pieces in there and you shake it. And you shake it for, roll the top first, so that it doesn't, you don't get a big cloud.
That's a fun mess to clean up.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done worse. So, but you shake it and you let it get really well coated with the flour, and then you take it out. And I put it on a rack, like a drainage rack. So I take basically a sheet pan or a baking sheet, and I put a cooling rack on there, and then I put the chicken on that, and you leave it in the refrigerator until it's tacky. You want the moisture to start to saturate the flour. The flour to,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
That makes
it like a glue.
That's the difference.
Yes, you get this nice crispy exterior at that point.
So you don't like dredge it in egg wash and flour and stuff. You just do the buttermilk and then shake it and then let it sit.
Yes. And if you're going to do something like an egg wash first, then what you do is you go into something dry first, and then the egg wash. So you I use rice flour is like a really nice flavorless medium. So I use rice flour, whatever the liquid dredge is, or the liquid adherence is, and then you go into the dry coating that you use.
Well, I like your idea better. The fewer steps, the easier it is.
And if you want to, the heavy duty, what is it, extra crispy from like I've had like 2 sips of beer and I'm done. But that extra crispy, they just double that process, right? That's what that is. It's a double batter.
Okay.
And so then the way you cook it is really important as well. Right. Those big, really cool fried chicken chains, I'll give an instance is at Universal Studios when we were building Doc Brown's Fried Chicken, because what was it? Back to the Future was something that was Universal Studios based. It was a movie produced by them. And when I was a chef there, we were trying to open this chicken shack. So we tried all these different fryers. Well, the best ones are pressure cookers, right? It's basically a deep fried pressure vessel. It's fat instead of steam. What that does is it steams and fries at the same time, right? It's kind of hard to explain how that works, but it keeps all the moisture in the vessel, and you don't lose that. So the way I do it is I actually it's a 2-step process. I use a cast iron skillet, like a heavy cast iron fry pan, a skillet, right? 3 inches tall. The bigger the better, right? If you're going to fry a bunch of chicken, so you don't have to do it over and over.
Right.
Like if you have if you're going to fry a whole chicken, you want at least 10-inch skillet, so you can fit all, or even 12 inches to fit them all.
Do them all at the same time.
And then you get your oil up to temp, 350, 375, and then you put them. You arrange the pieces gently in there, and if you're going to lay them in there, lay them in front to back, so if the oil splatters, it doesn't go towards you. And then let it cook, open, uncovered, and you cover it the first time. So you're going to cover it with tin foil as tightly as you can without burning yourself, and that steam stays in. So now what it's doing, it's steaming the top while it's frying the bottom. But
that makes so much sense.
And it doesn't wash off that coating that you have on the outside, because it doesn't steam it off, it just cooks.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, and then when that side's done cooking, then you remove that foil. You do not put it back on. You just turn the chicken. If you put and then you continue cooking.
The steam would make it soggy.
It's steam that makes the crust soggy, right?
Oh, okay.
And once you get it soggy, because it has that moisture content, it's really hard to re-crisp.
I'm trying that. Does the type of oil matter?
If you don't have an allergy, peanut oil is great.
Okay.
Canola oil, something. I try to stay away from the stuff that's soy-based oil, the really cheap oils, unless you're going to do volume. In which case, sometimes that's what I can afford. So
I just want to throw out if you come up to a place like you're going to a group gathering and they've been cooking chicken and it's like setting out on the table. If you haven't seen that chicken go out and go on the table and you don't know how long that chicken's been sitting there, you don't need to freaking eat it.
You shouldn't. Well, so here's the thing: cooked chicken is a little easier. Okay, so it's not as hazardous a food source as raw chicken. And the reason being that you're not worried about salmonella and that stuff as long as it's cooked all the way through. Because I've done fried chicken for parties where it'll stay at room temp for several hours.
Right.
As long as you don't exceed that 3-4 hour temperature time zone,
I worked in
usually okay.
I worked in a further processing chicken plant where we deboned the chicken and then cooked it with steam. Some of it would get spilled on the floor. You would have to scoop it up and throw it in this gray barrel. Well, you could fill up one of those 30-gallon barrels halfway full, and before the end of the night, it would grow.
Oh,
from the gas,
fermentation gas.
From the
oh, that's
before
so
the end
gross.
it would grow out of the barrel and be falling out of the sides.
On that note, we will work on chicken fermentations in a later segment. Maybe we'll do that for dessert. Course 4 coming up. We got a 2-minute break. Stay tuned. Hold tight.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz Pro.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
Now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called Riduzone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's work. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to Riduzone.com and try today. You're going to love it. Riduzone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RIDUZone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boost your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com, RIDUZone.com.
Oh, and here we go, folks. The fourth and final course, dessert of the day. Okay, so I got a couple of jackals I want to introduce you to here.
Wait. On dessert?
They already know me.
Well, not all. So you get, I have a few listeners that don't know the other channel, and we don't necessarily want them to.
I've been on this channel.
We don't want them to know too.
I know. Look, all these guys are embarrassed. Just put the damn mic up to your mouth. It's
what
okay.
are you talking about?
Like this.
Look, man,
Yes,
you just
that's
basically
better.
have to eat it.
You're gonna. I thought you got a beatbox. I can't do that, but that's about as far as I go. We put the three of us together, it'd probably get booed off the air. So, okay, with the two of us. But anyway, so if anybody's heard the story recently of the Anoyatrons that were stuck in the air vents here,
No, what you're talking about?
go back. I'll find the date and I'll put the link up. But if you've not heard that story, it's probably it's
Who would do anything like that?
I don't know.
man.
That's just crazy how that would happen.
The king of the jackals. That's
Like,
who.
that doesn't make sense.
Actually, our favorite visitor, because he brings us liquor and beer every couple of weeks.
Oh, who'd that be?
You, Raider.
I just show up.
Is it just RATR?
Well, my handle is with the 03 at the end.
Okay, Radar 03, yeah. So that's on Twitter and any other hashtag social media at wherever you can find you. I don't know. But
Yeah,
hey,
one of those.
we can tell him what you really do. You have to kill me. So Stephen
Apparently
Airy,
he's a secret agent.
Stephen Airy Jr. was actually on the show the other day.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit of... what the hell did we... I don't remember what we talked about. It's been a
We talked
couple
about
of days I've slept.
food, and we talked about a salmon recipe.
Oh, that badass salmon recipe.
Is it
so good.
salmon or salmon? Because down
It's
in Georgia,
salmon.
they say salmon.
Are you from England or are you from the United States?
He's from
'Cause it's
Georgia.
Salmon. It's
Okay.
salmon or salmon.
Well, here's the thing. Georgia is a slave colony and also a jail colony for England.
So is Australia.
Yeah, it's basically Australia, but in the U.S.
So, it's funny, the most proper English I've ever done is off the food topic. Shut up, that's okay. Hey, shh, I hear in my ears, that's okay.
We're talking about salmon.
I know, but Jeff's talking about salmonella, and why are we not talking about food? Okay, no.
What are you talking about salmonella for? You're talking
I'm
about
teasing.
food,
I'm
salmon.
teasing. He's not saying a word. It's the voices in my head. Come
What are
on,
you
y'all
doing,
know that.
Jeff?
Y'all know that. And one of the voices in my head does not sound like Jeff. It's not
That's true.
Trust me. If you heard my
so,
voice, you know my voice.
It's true.
But okay, that's interesting. I love the history of words, right? Etymology, not entomology, which is the history, the study of bugs and insects.
Right.
I'm talking about etymology, the origin of words. And when you talk about these types of colloquialisms, right, where food is pronounced differently in certain areas, or it could be just the simple cultural differences, which means food is prepared different areas. Like up north, chicken and dumplings is actually a chicken-based soup, much like here. It's a little thicker, usually, with a slightly thicker roux that they make the base with, and then you put drop dumplings on top. In Texas, the dumplings are not dumplings. They're a dumpling, like a biscuit mix that's rolled flat, into almost a pasta. Those are cut into strips, short strips, like 1 by 2, and those are cooked in the broth.
Yeah, my parents used to call that Popeye.
Really? Popeye? What? Huh?
It's just a very different thing. I mean,
what the hell's Popeye?
My mom's Canadian,
Texas
so.
Oh, now I know.
Well, more specifically, she's Newfie.
Oh no! So I have a lot of I have some roots in the Quebec region.
Don't insult Newfies.
Well, I'm not. I'm insulting the people from Quebec.
Oh, okay.
I'm just joking. Hey, no! All you people up there that are native Quebecois speakers, and we love you. I hope you're listening. We have a listener up from Newfoundland, don't we? We have another. Her mom is a baker up there. I consulted with her briefly last year, the year before. Shard. What the heck is the last name? Is I forgot. Anyway,
I'm not there.
But the bakery is supposed to be doing really well. I mean, they're doing well. And Newfoundland is not a large. That is not a densely populated area. Have you been up there?
Oh yeah, I go up there to visit family once in a while.
Damn, it's cold.
Even in the summer.
Exactly what I was going to say. Even in the summer. And what's the deal with they have a half-hour time zone up there? That little thing on the end.
An hour and a half. They're an hour
ahead
and
of
a
East
half.
Coast.
Yeah, of the East Coast.
What?
Yeah.
Come on. Even Canadians aren't that crazy.
Yes, they are.
Okay. No, but that half-hour time zone always like.
No, it's an hour and a half.
I know. Well, it's exactly what they tack on the extra half hour. So
But
it's like mountain time, but a half off.
Yeah, it's just odd. It's also surrounded by the Eastern time zone. It's like, why do you get a special time zone?
Well, I know it's off food topic, but if you think about that, the whole time change, right? The daylight savings time. There are only 3 places that don't change time. Do you know all 3? So this is
in the world or in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Arizona.
Yes. Ding.
Indiana.
Nope. No.
Indiana.
Nope.
See, I don't know this.
Nope.
I don't know
All right,
this.
so it's 3 places. Hawaii, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Who cares, right? It's Hawaii.
It's Hawaii. It's an island.
It doesn't matter if it's an hour earlier, hour later. You're gonna get a drink, go to the beach, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's not even America.
And they're in the middle of the ocean.
Dude, I don't know if it's 4 or 5. Just let's go float the boat,
so
man.
crazy.
No, man, I love Hawaii. It's such a beautiful place. So, secondly is Arizona. And because Arizonans just don't care. And
they don't.
as the 48th state in the union, they were just, I don't care. And the other one is the Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
Really, Michigan?
Just the upper,
the UP.
just the UP.
Just the UP.
You know why? Because they have to feel unique because they live in the UP. But I mean, what a cool place to be. Great.
Yeah, I'm just going to call them Wisconsin.
Oh, ouch! Dung. Wow, all my friends in well, I don't have any friends in the UP, so sorry. Well, I do. I have friends that spend the summer up there. I have a buddy named Skip who's a sailing instructor up there in the summer. Skip Clark. Yep. Skip, hey, Skip, you got to call in.
That'd be one day.
What's that?
That'd be one day.
One day?
One
Oh,
day.
he just does it in the summertime, but he tried to cook. So he tried to talk me into, right after all the hurricanes went through last year, he was looking at a boat down in the Bahamas, right? And he found a boat that was for sale. It was a German couple or English couple. They sailed around the world. They ended up there, and I think in Capri is where they ended up. And they had their boat. They were getting ready to sell and move back to Europe. And he goes, dude, let's go. Move down. I'll buy the boat. I'll give sailing lessons. We'll just go island to island. You cook. It's got a nice galley kitchen. Man, I was that close. But
you might as well.
But you wouldn't have met us.
Yeah, no, it's just like,
And I mean, what isn't there to like about us?
Yeah. Ooh, wow. That's quite a package there.
I know,
Nice.
right?
Oh, yeah, look at your. As a matter of fact, you look like you're an walking advertisement for Heinz ketchup.
No.
Until you turn around.
Anticipation.
That's an insult.
Making me wait. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was the worst commercial ever, by the way.
It was terrible.
It's like, waiting for that damn ketchup. It wasn't an attractive drip onto the food, whatever it was. I forgot it was a hamburger, hot dog, or whatever
it was a hamburger, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. All right, let's do a segment on favorite and least favorite commercials regarding food.
Oh, that's a really hard one.
Yeah, considering I don't watch
My Bologna has a first name. It's OSEIR. My Bologna has a second name.
See, that's the thing.
That was one of my favorite ones as a kid. I love that.
I hated all of those.
Because you can't eat bologna?
No, I can eat bologna. Unless it's made with chicken. But that's not the point. Anything that where you're talking about a food item and you're giving it a name.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's food.
Okay, so?
Okay, it's the same idea where do you name a pig that you're going to eat later?
No, but it's not about the bologna. Okay, so
yes, I have.
You name him bacon.
No.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Mine were breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I mean, depending on which one you were talking about.
Right, or if you have turkeys, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But at the same point in time, do you name them regular names? No. You don't name him Oscar.
So my children were mortified. I was eating dinner with them one night, and I said, I've chosen order that if the zombie apocalypse hits, that our pets shall be eaten in. And they're like, and I said, yes. So they're like, what? I said, yeah, the fat ones first, right? Because if you eat them last, they waste away. There's less calories, right? So they're first. So think about which one is the fattest. I just want you to know that's the one that goes first. And they're like, oh no! I'm like, well, I'm telling you, I'll let the dogs out to chase the deer off at night. There's no alternative food source. Yep. That was my backup right there. So stop.
There's a wonderful comic strip out there, and it's
it was not what I just said. That was really sad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's why I'm going out of the way. So there's a wonderful comic strip out there, and it's a father and son, right? And the son comes up and he has his little pig, and he's like, Dad, I want to name this pig. Oh, what do you think the name should be? And the father turns to him and says, You never name anything that you're going to eat. And then it skips to the next block. Now run away number 2.
Now run away number 2. That's funny.
It's like, okay, I get it. All right, fine. Who doesn't like a little long pig? Yep.
That's funny. Run away number 2. For me, it's not that big a deal having a name to even a face on the animal I'm eating. So, but let's again back to the commercials. What's the one you remember the best? Whether or not it was when you think of any food commercial.
The ones I can't stand are the Pop-Tart commercials where they're eating each other, and just like that's just wrong.
Well, it's just, why animate Pop-Tart? Just show that thing popping on the toaster.
That's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, though.
And you burning your tongue on that frosting. That's good enough to I remember that feeling. I like that taste.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's true. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the same thing. They eat each other.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't
They're
make
cannibals.
Yeah, that's like
cannibal cartoon characters versions of the cereal that eat each other.
Yeah.
Or sacrifice each other one way or the other. Yeah, that's kind of gross.
That's not weird.
It's like, you're tasty. Let me eat you. Oh, it's like,
yeah. Oh, shoot, that was my brother.
Oops.
Yeah. All right.
What is that teaching the kids today?
Okay, so more favorite commercials. What were the ones you were iconic from your
Pringles?
Which Pringle ones?
Pringles.
The Pringles.
The original. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I'll eat those things till I'm sick if I'm driving in the car.
That's true.
Literally, I'll buy like 2 of the tall cans of the salt and vinegar ones. By the time I get to where I'm going, I have these little sore, taste buds on my tongue.
It's almost a cold sore on the side of your lip.
No, my tongue, the little taste buds get swollen, and I'm like, because I'm drinking water to dilute the salt in my mouth. I'm like, by the time I get there,
it's like this base. It's like this base burn on your tongue. Because if you're talking about vinegar, it's not actually an acid, right? It's a base, but it's it hurts. It hurts so much.
Yeah, I mean, when it's like sesame seeds, or I mean, the sunflower seeds.
Yes.
When you used to pack your cheek full, and by the time because you always split them with the tip of your tongue and your teeth, you split them and you spit them out, and by the time you got through that whole pack, your tongue was raw at the tip. You had a big sore. It was like, how'd I do that? Oh yeah, the 14,000 sesame seeds I ate during the baseball tournament over the weekend. That's what happened.
Really not a good idea. I shouldn't have done that.
All right, so back to commercials. Come on.
I can tell you more that I don't like the beer commercials, like Bud Light commercials.
Oh yeah, whatever. What do you like? You gotta like something. What was an iconic food commercial when you were a kid?
See, he doesn't watch commercials
Mikey,
anymore.
He won't eat it. He hates everything. Okay, can I tell you that commercial never made sense till I was like 45 years old because it was like, hey Mikey, he won't eat it. I heard he likes everything, not he hates.
Yeah.
So it wasn't enunciated very clearly, and I can barely hear anyone like wah 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 wah. That's what everything sounds like. And
Everything sounds like Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown's teacher, yes, yeah. Wah, 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 wah. No, that's not. That's Woodstock. Yeah, she's like wah 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 wah. Woodstock was more like. Well, actually, Woodstock the event was more like, hey.
They canceled the latest one.
I know. Why?
50-year reunion.
Why?
They don't have as much free love as they used to.
Well, you know what? So that could you imagine trying to police that event in this day and age?
No.
Yeah, I can't either. But that's not awfully far from where I grew up.
They destroyed my hometown when they had the last Woodstock.
So I mean, was it just like the trash that was left and the like?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was.
It's like Firefest, but worse.
I don't know what Firefest is. Is that in Scotland where they light the hills on fire across from
No, it's like in America where a bunch of drugged out teenagers go together and listen to a bunch of music and trip.
Okay, so that's kind of like a Burning Man or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Orange Crush.
So you mean
Savannah.
so you're talking about Burning Man, not Firefest?
Yeah, Firefest didn't happen. Firefest was
that's
the one
that didn't happen.
That's the one that didn't happen because they failed.
That was the tickets that they failed to put the show together. Although it would have been a good show if they put it together.
Yeah.
They sold a hell of a lot of tickets for that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Doug.
Firefest was the one that
I meant to pay the money back. I promise. As they take you away in handcuffs, but
no, you didn't.
Yeah. So Burning Man. I've never been to Burning Man, but I know some people went, and I'm always curious. What do these people live on for like 5 days out there in the desert? Is it like
peyote? Just to be honest.
Yeah, I'll tell you that story off the air sometime. It has nothing to do with me, just about a long drive across country. Yeah. So I don't know if you've noticed, I don't like to not feel like I'm in control. Like if I'm having an off day in here, I have no problem telling everybody that this is not the normal Patrick. If you know, has anybody Raider? You've been here a lot. You've seen me drink, right? You ever seen me drunk?
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen you drunk.
You see me?
Oh no, I had seen you tipsy because that one day when we had
Tipsy's
a lot of.
different.
I think that was you. I think that was the day you planted those damn things.
Probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
You notice I held
What are you talking about?
Notice I didn't leave right away. I made you talk to me for a while. Could have been for a reason. I'm not sure why, but no. So I don't like to feel like I'm not in control. I don't like to be perceived that way.
That is one of the reasons why I don't do drugs.
Well, as Bill Cosby said, like he's an authority, but Bill Cosby.
You put the Joe.
No. But I mean, when back in the day when he had a Bill Cosby, I forgot what the show was, but he's talking about
The Cosby Show.
No. It was one of his live comedy shows, and they showed it on HBO all the time when it became popular, like in the mid '80s, early '80s, and so he's talking about Bill Cosby live as himself or something like that, and,
right? Yeah.
He talks about he goes, well, I'm talking to one of my friends. I go, well. Because he's talking about not drinking. And he goes, well, why do you drink or why do you do drugs? And the guy goes, because it enhances your personality. And Bill Cosby looks at him and goes, well, what if you're an a-hole? And the guys go, he just looks like, oh, okay, good point. You know,
Bill Cosby knew something that most people didn't, that he was an a-hole.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, folks, we're talking about food. Favorite iconic. And hey, Stephen Airy Jr., thanks for joining the show today. So, Raider, what's going on with you? What food commercial? No, just joking.
Actually, the commercial that I liked had nothing to do with food. Actually, it had food.
My God, this is a food show.
Yes, it had food.
What were they eating or drinking then?
They plated a beautiful filet mignon on this. It's just like. And then all of a sudden,
now it's Food Porn Friday.
Oh yeah,
that's right. It's good.
Delicately,
like you watched it, and it's just like, oh wow, that's glorious. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, they put cheese whiz on top of it.
No. Yeah. Okay.
But it was a tire commercial for Toyo.
Oh yeah, Toyo. I remember that one. Actually, I do remember that.
And it was just like that was brilliant. It's like why ruin something so good?
Why take a Ferrari and put a VW engine in it,
Yeah.
basically? That's classic. So I
Why put
have to
bad
tell you a
tires
really
in
funny
your car?
food story. We were working in Miami, too. We're getting ready to go to Ecuador.
Mhm.
And everything okay back there? Okay. So we were presenting to this guy from Ecuador to develop their food products, these value-added seafood products. And this guy is very wealthy. He comes from a multi-billionaire, a billion-dollar family.
Seafood.
Yeah, and no, so we go to this house, this very impressive house. It's got like this 12-foot big, 4 or 5 inch thick wooden door that creaks open. It's beautiful. It's in Biscayne Bay, and so we go in, and there's a 120-foot yacht out back, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole back of the house is glass. Well, before we go in, we're strategizing. What do we do? Say this. Be sure you don't say that. Do this. Okay, just keep your composure. We're all dressed up, right? The guy comes to the door. He's got these brown linen pants on, and his little Jesus sandals, right? And he's got this shirt, this nice, kind of South American style linen shirt that's rolled up just below the elbow. It's got the big V-neck in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice, but very casual. And there's like a guy that's a little more handsome than the most interesting guy in the world. And he's like 6'4", and he looks down, he's beautifully done, and he goes, "Hey, welcome." And he tilts his head back, and he has a can of cheese with right in his mouth, no cracker, no nothing. And he's like, "Come in, I'm hungry, let's eat." And I'm like, I was like, you know what's cool though? That was the most down-to-earth guy I've ever met. Okay?
I'm sure.
I'll just tell you, his first name's Ernesto. It was so cool to see someone so open and honest and vulnerable. Of course, when you're worth $1 billion, I guess you can do whatever the hell you want. Nobody can really judge you. But it was cool because we were going to make this multi-million-dollar presentation of this guy who is basically throwing his head back, and he exported some of the best seafood out of all South America. And he's like, "Hey, come in." I was like,
Canned cheese.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Nice.
But he didn't share. That was kind of uncool because we hadn't eaten in like 2 days because we were working on a project. But
And you were in South America.
no, we're actually that was in Florida before we went down to Ecuador.
Practically South America.
Yeah.
Basically South America.
No, it's Latin, not South, right? Because there's a lot of so there's a huge influx of Latins down there. I mean, the food down there is amazing.
By Latins, do you mean
Cubans?
People of Latin. No, there are all sorts of islands and people. Actually, that's a big port of it's a big hub for flights from South America, especially Panama, Ecuador, so on and so forth.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But there's a great chain that was started down there called Chicken Kitchen. And I believe these guys might
Can't have it.
No, I think I don't know if they went to. They might have gone to U of H in Houston. I could be. They were in a master's MBA program. That I don't know. I want to say it was U of H. I could be wrong. These guys, for their master's thesis, they put together this concept for a basically Cuban-based food chain,
right,
that was called Chicken Kitchen. And if you've never eaten there, this is not a plug. They aren't paying me, but hey, you should, because I'm giving you a big plug.
I can't.
I know you can't. Well, we're going to talk about something else you can't have in a minute, because we're talking about the WFC's final table event coming up here in a minute. I know. Gotta love the crab. Just saying.
I do love crab.
I know, but you can't have it. All right, so they're.
So how do you know you love it?
Because I could have it.
And he has had it in the past.
I used to have it. My family's from Baltimore, and so blue crab, like
blue steam crab,
the
little
whole
black pepper
thing,
on there,
whole deal. And then like 8 years old, no longer.
Yeah, throat closes.
Your
that's a bad scene.
That's not good.
That whole peppered crab, though.
Mhm.
You raise the aprons, tear it off, and you just separate the whole body from the shell. Man, I love crab. Okay, we're back to that. But anyway, so Chicken Kitchen is one of the coolest concepts ever. It's very simple. You walk up and you choose whether you want a salad base, which is just lettuce and tomato, or you want they do this. It's saffron butter rice, right? So it's unbelievably flavorful. They actually steam it with butter and everything in it. Oh man, it's fantastic. That's the base. Then you choose, and it's just all they do is they grill chicken and they dice it up and they throw it on top. That's it. But they have, you can get other things, like fried plantains, like the really ripe fried plantains are really sweet, fried in butter. They have, Cuban style black beans and these a few toppings. That's it. Very few items. They're bigger. The menu is much more expensive than it used to be. They had one item when it started, chicken. Now they have a couple other things, but the protein's still the same. You might be able to. They might have something alternative, but I doubt it now. You can go vegetarian.
It's okay.
They do a vegetarian one with just the black beans and stuff. It's really good. So at the end though, they have this sauce that they measure out in these little 2-cup containers to go, little 2-ounce containers, the clear ones, or they have it. They have a dispenser machine like the ketchup dispensers. It's a curried cream sauce.
Ooh,
that is unbelievable. So you take that rich curry cream sauce and you drizzle that over the grilled chicken, that char from the chicken, that rich buttered steamed saffron rice. I'm so hungry for that right now.
Yeah, you need to stop talking.
We're just like, I've been drinking, I need to eat.
Look. So,
well,
by the way,
I just flew in from North Carolina, so.
And your arms are tired?
No, they are really incredibly tired.
All right, so we got 7 minutes left. And this, I'm not making light of this. You have a lot of food allergies. And I'm
really
sorry.
do, and it sucks, and it's increasingly.
I can't
every
imagine.
year.
I really can't.
It increases every year, or every 7 years.
You know what they say? If you can't enjoy it, if you're not going to die from it.
Well, if that's not
that's the problem. I die from all of it.
That's a problem.
If you enjoy it, then die from it.
Well, that's. I wish I could.
As my brother would say, the former smoker, Gary, I love you. I don't want to die for no reason. I'm like, yeah, well, you don't have to die earlier than your expiration date. I mean, come on, don't force
the
it.
The thing is, the Lord will hate you.
Look, there's a difference between the Lord will and I'm going to force His hand.
He's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I can't say much.
Well, I mean, I still ride motorcycles.
Yeah, but that's not as bad as eating food that you can't eat because your throat.
I don't have
closes up.
control of the situation. People could run me off the road anymore. It's just like, what?
All right. So the reason I brought this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this big WFC competition coming up, World Food Championship.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for clarifying the acronyms.
Yeah, not UFC, WFC, not WWF,
World
WFC. Oh wait, it's not WWF anymore.
I work
it's WWE.
in the acronym environment. It's just,
I'm so sorry.
idea.
You know what?
I understand.
All right. Yeah, that's a sad thing. I'm sorry, but you get paid well because you raised a lot of liquor. That's all I can tell you. Thank you. All right. So WFC, the World Food Championship. This was started by Mike McLean like 8 years ago.
Sure.
It's a great organization where we did some radio interviews. They have 2 big events a year, and they have 2,000 events that lead up to those 2 big events. So the 2,000 events are qualifiers. You either win one single event, which gives you a golden ticket if it's a large enough platform to go right into the finals, and that's once a year. And then the other events lead into larger events, which you then have to win to get a golden ticket in. All right, so they at the end of all this culmination, 2,000 events that lead up to that, which is they're starting to have, I think, some international competitions now.
You get a chocolate factory, right?
No,
golden ticket.
Yes,
just
I wish. Yeah, we'll talk. That's one of my favorite movies. But this year, so what they did, there's 10 categories. There's bacon, burger,
Did you say
chicken,
bacon or baking?
Bacon category. BACON, bacon, burger. Bacon, burger, steak, chicken, sandwich, recipe, chef. I forgot the other 3, right? There's 10 categories.
Who's cooking a chef?
Professional chefs.
Not me.
Basically, you can actually enter that particular that group not as a professional. It's just they're looking for different components. It's not just about flavor and simple clear, concise presentation.
If you're not technique. A Patrick or a Ramsey, you're probably not making it.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not, probably not. It's tough. So as a matter of fact, I interviewed the winner from last year the day before yesterday.
Are you in it?
I'm not. No, his name is Nick Richmond, and he's based out of Florida. Kind of a badass. He's got a place called the Salt Block down there, and if you're in that area,
does he cook everything on salt blocks?
No. But they got hit really hard by hurricane. Was it Mike?
Okay.
Michael?
Yeah.
Mike? No, Mike.
I don't know.
What was the one last year?
The one last year? There was a ton of it last year.
Yeah, well, the one in the fall, like August last year it was. Anyway, they got hit really hard. It was like a month before the World Food Championship competition. So, yeah, and but he went and won. He went anyway, and he had like this. His grandfather was a great inspiration, and was he had opened many restaurants. He came to this country, actually he immigrated to this country, and had been a cook in the past. But he was a dishwasher at the Waldorf Astoria. And over the years, he moved up to cook and chef, moved to the South, and opened up his own restaurants. He had a couple of places. He opened the first family-style steakhouse in the South, actually. So it was a big deal. He's a very cool guy, Greek heritage. Anyway, so he ended up, he kind of had he was kind of feeling down there their restaurant was hit a little, but their house was they had quite a bit of devastation to their actual home, and they were thinking about first thing they did is they started feeding other people. They called Operation Barbecue. What is it? It's a barbecue relief organization. Barbecue relief.
I remember when they started that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a big deal. Anyway, that's the first thing they did, and then he kind of his grandfather spoke to him and just said, "Hey, are you going to go?" And he goes, "Yeah, you know what? I am going." And he went and he kicked ass. He won. So it was a great interview. It took up the whole 2 hours of the show. And so these other 9 category ones are all great people. They're wonderful. The guy that won the steak portion of the steak competition, the steak. Yeah, steak champion. He's a piano. He restores pianos. That's his in upstate. In of all places, Pennsylvania, right outside of just about an hour northwest of New York City.
Yeah, I restore pianos, but I really like steaks. So.
No, but it's all, well. He was a barbecue competition guy. A lot of those people are. It's a hobbyist, right? And so. But he entered the steak category of a barbecue competition one time before the SCA even existed. He won that, and it kind of parlayed into this. So
cool.
So these guys are all really well respected in their own rights. This is what they're doing this year, though. They take all 10 of those winners about 5-6 months after that competition. They come to one arena. This year it's in New Orleans, and they duke it out. Basically, there's 2 days, three challenges. The first one, they have to cook eggs Benedict. But they have to. The idea behind everything this year is you have to cook in the with the mindset of your region. You have to cook regionally, so you have to add those influences in, right? But make it your own, and still try and stay original to the dish. So that's one. Number 2, the second day they have another challenge. I forgot, but so only 5 pass through from day 1 to day 2. Only 3 make it to the final round. Of those 3, the winner, they have to create an appetizer for the restaurant called Antoine's. All right, and that
I've heard of Antoine.
Second day. I'm sorry, that's the dish I was going to talk about because it's got crab. It is snapper, red snapper, Bienville. It has this crab butter sauce on it, and I'm telling you,
how do they make the crab butter sauce?
Well, we only got 40 seconds left. I was going to get into that. I have the recipe right here. But they have to try to. They taste that. So what they do is they taste that dish and they have to recreate that dish without a recipe, right?
Can I recreate it without crab?
So anyway, I just want to. It happens May 18th through the 20th, and down in New Orleans. Check out the WFC. That's World Food Champions at worldfoodchampionships.com.
Not UFC, WFC.
Yeah, worldfoodchampionships.com. And Mike McLeod, what a great guy to bring that to us. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to them. I'll get into the recipe tomorrow. You'll be here tomorrow, right? We'll talk about that. We'll get the recipe out. And thanks again for everything. Hey, we've burned through another day. 4 courses. Dessert is done. It's time to actually get out of this room, have a drink of water, and maybe find some. There's got to be dessert out there somewhere.
Water. He's got a Shiner box right there.
No, I got water right here. All right. Hey, thanks again. Ciao for now. We'll see you tomorrow.